I remember, being absolutely terrified of the Daleks. Do you? Yes, just their voice sent you to the back of the settee, didn't it? And there were all those wonderful doctors. I remember John Pertwee, and everybody at my school had to wear a long scarf, all thanks to the brilliant actor and Doctor Who man himself, Tom Baker. He really did set a trend. By the time the likes of Sylvester McCoy and Peter Davison had come along, I got a little bit too old, long in the tooth for the sci-fi spectacular that was Doctor Who. But I've been lucky enough to interview and meet many of the stars. Now, when you think about it, there's this brand new problem for the flagship, some might say, children's BBC TV show. Doctor Who was one of those stablemates that they were able to sell around the world for many years, particularly when they revitalised it and, thought, well, we've now got a new run on that, even with the likes of David Tennant playing along with this sonic screwdriver. Remember that? Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because people are saying the show's going to be axed, the lead stars left, all of that sort of stuff. What's the true story? Well, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Lovely to have your company here on a nice chilled evening in London town. Doctor Who, as I say, you might like it, you might not, but recently what you might have found is just how wokey and pronoun it's now become. Always hidden messages, you can't simply be entertained. At any given point, I expected the Daleks to come out singing "I'm Coming Out" by Diana Ross or something. It was ridiculous, the storylines, but they felt, and this is the young Gen Z generation that the BBC employed as the production team behind the scenes over in Cardiff and places like that, that this is what the audience wanted. The audience have spoken, they loathe it, they can't now sell the programme around the world, and more importantly, viewers are switching off in droves. So what's to do? Well, the bigger problem really is this. The co-production deal with Disney has, faltered. They don't want to pay the level of money that the BBC require to carry on making the show. That's the bigger problem. With close to 1 million people now abandoning the BBC TV licence fee, all thanks to programmes like Doctor Who, the BBC are in dire straits. Hiring, firing, removing, replacing, whatever you want to call it. Staff are going through that very swingy door at the BBC at a rate of knots. But amazingly, they always still manage to have around 33,000 employees. You see how this works. So the Doctor could be rested, as it were, until they decide what direction they're going to go with him. It's quite simple. Look at the old scripts, look at the old plots, bring them back with a fresh lick of paint, and suddenly you would have a hit show again. But of course, what the BBC now have to do is sell that to all the wokeratory people that they employed that apparently are clinging on to the idea of what the good Doctor should be. But clearly, as many fans have decided, this was simply not what the Doctor ordered. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.